Hello and welcome to Football Daily, where today we've put together an 11 of the Premier League's worst players this season. Goalkeeper, Asmir Begovic. Despite a hot start sparking talk of Eddie Howe finally moving to a big side, Bournemouth ended the year disappointingly, finishing 14th behind Crystal Palace and even Newcastle. As usual, the problem was defensive. Though only the top 6 scored more than the Cherries' 56, just 7 goals fewer than Chelsea, only Fulham and Huddersfield conceded more than their insane 70, meaning Bournemouth have been among the 5 worst defensive sides in the league in every one of the last 5 campaigns. This year they let in almost 2 goals a game, and Asmir Begovic had the worst save percentage in the league, only stopping 56% of the shots he faced. The Bosnian played 24 games in the league, but despite featuring for 63% of Bournemouth's minutes, he conceded 67% of the goals. As a result, he managed to lose his place, only making 2 Prem appearances after January, with Howe preferring error-prone 39-year-old Artur Boruc and even 19-year-old Mark Travers to the stopper who cost him over £10 million just 2 years ago. But it didn't help, as Howe's 3 keepers still managed to concede 8 goals more than expected goals predicted. Having started the season in a team pushing for a place in the Europa League, Begovic ended it being linked with a switch to mid-table Championship side Nottingham Forest. At 31, his top-flight career may be over. Right back, Ashley Young. Only Ali Dyer could stand up against Ashley Young as football's biggest fraud, following the season he has had somehow wearing the Manchester United shirt. Playing 30 Premier League games this term and 7 in the Champions League, the veteran has been one of the most regular fixtures in the United lineup, as this term has seen him earn his highest tally of appearances in his Old Trafford career. His consistency in the starting lineup shows just how weak the United squad has become, with his defensive abilities helping concede 43 goals this term and keep only 4 clean sheets in the league. Considering Young started as a winger, expectations are higher for his creativity, but his offering going forward has been totally woeful. Overall in the Prem, Young's cross accuracy has been an embarrassing 21%, but we witnessed rock bottom in the second leg UCL tie against Barcelona, when the Englishman attempted 11 crosses, of which 0 were successful. The 33-year-old was slated as the Red Devils' worst ever right-back and captain by Chris Sutton following his horrific performances this season, and we're struggling to form an argument against the former player. Centre-back, Shkodran Mustafi. Ahead of the summer transfer window, reports from Italy are suggesting that AC Milan are interested in taking Shkodran Mustafi out of North London, and we have no idea why. In a leaky backline that boasts Lichtsteiner and Koscielny, who have a combined age of 68, and 2 Premier League debutants in Socrates and Leno, it's World Cup winning Mustafi at the heart of the Gunners' frailties. While Lacazette and Aubameyang have proved fiery in attack, the inability to extinguish opponents' goal threats has seen the Gunners concede the same number of shots per 90 as Newcastle, and let in more goals than Everton, Leicester and Wolves this season. The 27-year-old German has won a total of just 8 50-50 duels this season, registered a pass completion percentage of 81% and averaged 2 tackles per 90. But it's his decision-making that's been the most concerning, repeatedly putting his team in unnecessary trouble. If you're up for a laugh, search for his best-worst bits this season. They won't disappoint. Centre-back, fans' choice. We're leaving the second centre-back spot blank for you to fill in the comments below. Let us know who you think deserves to be sat next to Mustafi in this lineup of 2018-19 failures. Left-back, Gaëtan Bong. Whatever their 17th place finish suggests about Brighton, the club has done some excellent recruitment over the last 2 years, but saw smart signings like Florian Andone and Yves Bissouma benched in favour of the old guard by coach Chris Hughton. That's exactly what happened to talented left-back Bernardo, who joined for $9 million from RB Leipzig in 2018, but got to December having played just 200 league minutes. Instead, the Seagulls used 31-year-old Gaëtan Bong, who helped the club win promotion from the Championship in 2017. But while the Cameroonian may be a faithful servant, Brighton took just 0.77 points per game with him in the lineup, compared to 1.1 with Bernardo. That may sound like a small difference, but it's the gap between survival with 42 points and relegation with 29. Hughton's team lost 13 of the 22 matches Bong appeared in, and despite playing the same position for the same side under the same coach, Bong won possession just twice a game to Bernardo's 5. While Bernardo won 59% of his aerial duels, Bong succeeded in just 43% and contributed fewer chances and dribbles than his rival, who is also 7 years his junior. The poor use of the squad saw Houghton lose his job after 4.5 years. Bong will be lucky if he doesn't follow the coach out of the door. Right midfield, Denis Suarez. Taking over from Kim Källström as the most pointless signing in Arsenal history is Denis Suarez, who joined the Gunners on loan in January to give them depth as they competed for top 4 and the Europa League. Suarez worked with Emery at Sevilla, but had played under 600 minutes for Barcelona in 2017-18, making him an odd choice as an impact signing. He ended up having more impact on Arsenal's bank balance than on the pitch, earning $50,000 a week, but ending the league campaign with just 67 minutes on the field, 100 fewer than Carl Jenkinson. In that time, the Spaniard had 0 shots, produced 0 chances, and though he completed 4 dribbles, he failed with a further 6, before a groin injury put an end to his Arsenal career. The one good thing is that his dismal showing means the Gunners won't waste any of their tiny transfer budget, making the 25-year-old a permanent member of the squad, meaning that a player once wanted by Barcelona and Manchester City will have to look for a home in the Spanish mid-table next season. Centre midfield, Andre Frank Zombo Anguissa. After success in the 2017 playoff final, Fulham returned to the Premier League. Having splurged £100 million on 12 players in the summer, the pressure was on Slavisa Jokanovic to impress in the top flight. It became quickly apparent though that their style of play wouldn't hack it against the big guns in the Prem, and by November, Jokanovic was handed his P45. As if writing a how not to guide for all future Premier League newcomers, the Cottagers ditched their promotion-winning reliables and forked out £27 million for Jean-Michel Seri, £18 million on Alexander Mitrovic and £30 million on Andre Frank Zombo Anguissa. Arriving from Marseille with a reputation as a commanding defensive midfielder who could dominate the middle of the park, Anguissa failed to find his feet in the Prem, let alone replicate that reputation. Any defensive midfielder playing for a team who, over the course of the season, have conceded 72 goals has suffered a torrid term. It might have taken 3 managers to try to solve the problem, but Fulham's nightmare season will have taught Championship exports to be strict with their purse strings. Centre midfield, Fred. The 4th most expensive signing in Manchester United history, Fred cost the Reds £52 million in the summer of 2018, but unfortunately for the Brazilian, 2018-19 has been a debut campaign to forget. The 26-year-old has struggled to find a slot in the Manchester midfield, finding himself behind expiring Nemanja Matic and inexperienced Scott McTominay in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's pecking order. From 13 starts, the deep-lying midfielder has got on the goal sheet once in the league and provided 1 assist too. However, OGS won't be too worried about this lack of creation, as that is not in the Brazilian's remit. What's more concerning is his drop-off in defensive output. In his final season for Shakhtar, Fred averaged 4 tackles and interceptions in the Champions League per game. This term, it's dropped to a worrying 2.6 in Europe and in the Prem, with his only stat untouched by his move to England being 1.5 fouls per 90. Perhaps Fred has simply struggled to catch up to the pace and competition of the Premier League, coming from a Ukrainian side. He will certainly be hoping for a Victor Lindelof-like turnaround next season. Left midfield, Alireza Jahanbakhsh. In 2017-18, Alireza Jahanbakhsh ranked alongside Hakim Ziyech as one of the best players in the Eredivisie. While the Moroccan was involved in 24 league goals, Jahanbakhsh was involved in 33, finishing as top scorer and with the 3rd most assists. But a year on, Ziyech's star is in the stratosphere after a domestic double and run to the Champions League semi, while Jahanbakhsh has struggled for game time on a relegation candidate. Having featured for just 1,000 minutes under Chris Hughton, the Iranian has so far failed to be involved in a single goal for Brighton, and he looks like he doesn't even know how. Having taken a massive 4.3 shots a game in the Netherlands, he now takes 1.1, and key passes have dropped from 2.5 to just 0.4. The physical step-up has caused problems too, with the 25-year-old going from 3.5 completed dribbles per 90 to just 1 on the south coast. That's hardly impressive from a footballer who so far has cost the Seagulls around £16,600 per minute played in the Prem. At 25 and with a new coach set to arrive, Jahanbakhsh could yet revive his career at the Amex. But on this evidence, he'd be better off booking a flight back to the Netherlands. Forward, Alexis Sanchez. Alexis Sanchez spent 2016-17 carrying a below-average Arsenal 1 point from Champions League football, with a spectacular 24-goal and 10-assist league output. Midway through the following season, he switched to Manchester, but a year and a half on, things have got no better for the Chilean. Over the 2018-19 campaign, he failed to impress either Mourinho or Solskjaer, clocking up under 900 minutes in the league and 200 in Europe. Having netted just once and assisting his teammates 3 times in total this season, Sanchez's presence in Manchester is causing more disruption than he's worth. With Sanchez earning the most in the league at $400k a week and warming the bench, his Red Devils peers are starting to demand similar figures, meaning United need to offload him ASAP. So desperate to get rid of the chronically underperforming star, Man United might have to loan the forward out and still cover a percentage of his wages. Even for a club who spent £90 million bringing back their own schoolboy, buying Alexis Sanchez has been a horrific piece of business. Forward, Alex Pritchard. Only 29 forwards played more minutes than Alex Pritchard in the Premier League in 2018-19, but none of them scored as few as the Huddersfield man, who netted just twice in 30 appearances for the Terriers. The Englishman also failed to register an assist, and the fact that Huddersfield didn't have a better option up front makes it unsurprising that they scored just 22 top-flight goals, 12 fewer than the next lowest total, and the worst tally by any Premier League side since Derby netted 20 in 2007-8. Pritchard managed just 47 shots all year, and under half of them came from inside the box, meaning he took just 1 close-range attempt every 95 minutes, while 21-year-old Carlon Grant, who finished as the club's top scorer with 4, did it every 55 minutes, and Steve Mounier every 35. And while Pritchard finished with the most dribbles in the squad, he still failed more often than he succeeded, losing possession around 5 times a match. The former Tottenham trainee, who was named to the PFA Championship Team of the season in 2014-15, can take some solace from the fact that he'll be playing at that level again next season. Perhaps he can rediscover his Brentford form and make another assault on the top flight one day. So that was our worst Premier League 11 of the season, but who did we miss out and who would you have included? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure that you drop us a like and a comment and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.